Welcome back to Prince Bikes Update, your go-to channel for everything on two wheels. Today, we're diving into something that carries a legacy of raw power and classic American design at the 2025 Harley-Davidson Iron 883. It's a name that resonates with Harley enthusiasts around the globe, and in 2025, it returns with a few subtle refinements while staying true to its rebellious roots. If you've been eyeing this machine or just curious what's new, sit tight because we're taking a deep, in-the-saddle look at what the Iron 883 brings to the table this year. So let's fire it up and roll into the details. As you walk up to the 2025 Iron 883, there's no mistaking it for anything else. That low-slung, aggressive stance stares back at you with that same bad boy attitude. Harley hasn't tampered too much with its design language, which is good news for purists. The front of the bike carries that familiar blacked-out 39mm front fork setup, fitted with fork gaiters that add to its rugged vibe. The round headlamp still sits tucked under a small, smoked visor, not overly flashy, just classic and purposeful. The handlebars remain slightly forward and low, keeping you in that hunched, ready-to-pounce position. Rolling to the side view, you get the full picture of the bike's stance. The peanut tank is still here, a compact, curvy, and marked with bold Harley-Davidson branding, keeping things nostalgic. The tank holds 12.5 liters, which isn't huge, but let's be honest, nobody rides the Iron 883 for long-distance touring. It's a city beast, and the tank size matches that identity. The solo seat is low at just around 760mm, keeping riders close to the pavement and making it approachable for those of shorter stature. The chopped rear fender, bobber-inspired lines, and short wheelbase give it a tight, muscular silhouette that feels ready to launch. From the back, the Iron 883 continues its dark, minimalistic story. The fender hugs the rear tire closely, and the brake lights are integrated neatly into the rear indicators, a subtle but effective dual coil-over shocks on either side offer preload adjustability and support the stripped-down rear end. There's a tightness to the design, nothing feels wasted, just metal, rubber, and intent. The exhaust pipes sweep along the right side, both blacked out and slightly angled, giving a visual balance that echoes the old-school customs. Now let's talk about what's hiding in the heart of this machine at the Evolution engine. Harley has carried over the air-cooled 883cc V-twin that's been a mainstay in the Sportster family. For 2025, it hasn't been radically changed, and that's intentional. Riders love this engine for its personality, the way it trembles at idle, the way it surges forward with torque off the line. It's not the most high-tech engine, and it doesn't try to be, but it is reliable, deeply mechanical, and it puts down about 50 horsepower and 68 newton-meters of torque. That may not sound mild on paper, but on the street, especially with the Iron 883's low weight, it's more than enough to put a grin on your face. The 5-speed transmission is carried over as well, with firm, mechanical shifts that reward deliberate riding. Throttle response on the 2025 Iron 883 is director and old school. There's no ride-by-wire or customizable modes, just you, your wrist, and the roar of combustion. That simplicity is part of the charm. It forces you to connect with the machine, to feel each gear change, every vibration, and every push of torque as you twist the throttle. Cruising at 100 km/h. The Iron 883 feels planted and relaxed, though when protection is minimal. Of course, this isn't built for high-speed sprints or aerodynamic efficiency. It's about presence, sound, and attitude. In traffic, the bike is manageable. Its low center of gravity and narrow width make it surprisingly nimble for an American cruiser. But don't expect featherweight handling, the Iron 883 is still made of solid stuff, and it feels that way in tight turns or slow U-turns. Braking is handled by single discs front and rear, with ABS now standard. They do the job, but again, this is an area where Harley hasn't modernized too much. If you're coming from a performance-oriented sport bike adverb, you might feel a bit of a step back here. But for most cruiser riders, the brakes are adequate and predictable. The 2025 Iron 883 remains one of Harley's most approachable models, not just in terms of size but also price. In the US, it starts around $11,999 depending on color and dealer charges. In markets like India, where Harley has partnered with Hero MotoCorp, expect a price somewhere around a superscript 11213 lakh on road. Again, depending on location and dealer. It's definitely not the cheapest bike in the class, especially with newer options from other brands offering more tech or power for similar money. But here's the thing, none of them offer that Harley soul, that visceral sound, the iconic styling, and the brand legacy you're buying into when you throw a leg over the Iron 883. Fuel economy is moderate. You'll get somewhere around 20 to 22 kilometers per liter in mixed riding. That's not a highlight, but again, not a deal breaker for riders who prioritize style and torque over long-range efficiency. It's meant for those who love the ride, not just the destination. Servicing remains relatively straightforward, though Harley parts and labor can be pricier than average, especially outside the US. However, with the Hero partnership in India, support and parts availability should improve, which is a big deal for ownership confidence. So where does that leave us with the 2025 Iron 883? If you're looking for a high-tech, feature-packed cruiser, this isn't your ride. It doesn't have touch-screen dashboards, riding modes, traction control, or radar-based safety systems. It doesn't talk to your phone or auto-adjust your suspension. What it does have is a heart, a proper, beating, mechanical heart that thumps between your legs and speaks to your senses in a way few modern bikes do. It's for the rider who values simplicity, who enjoys the sensation of raw metal on asphalt, who appreciates the classic look and feel of a bike that hasn't caved into every modern trend. The Iron 883 is a throwback, a statement, and for some, a lifestyle. And in 2025, Harley-Davidson has wisely chosen not to mess with that formula too much. Before we wrap this up, let me say this: the Iron 883 isn't for everyone, but for those it is for, it's perfect. It's a bike that will draw looks at every red light and start conversations at fuel stations. You'll feel it in your bones when you ride it, and you'll probably want to ride just a little longer than you planned, every single time. So if you're someone who wants to be part of a legacy, not just a spec sheet, the 2025 Iron 883 is still one of the best ways to ride that dream. It may not be the fastest or the flashiest, but it's undeniably authentic. And sometimes, that's all you really need. Thanks for tuning into Prince Bikes Update. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more real-world reviews, riding impressions, and all things two wheels, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Let us know, would you ride the 2025 Iron 883, or is there another cruiser that's caught your eye this year? Until next time, ride safe, ride free, and I'll see you on the road.